get into Georgia, Ole Miss. What a game that was, 43-35, the final. Lane got up in that game, and you were thinking, I think it was 35-26, I believe is what the score was. And then Georgia goes on to outscore Ole Miss 17-0 in the fourth quarter. And Paul, a 17-0 difference in the score in the fourth quarter, that is a championship level fourth quarter by a team that knew what they had to do at home against an Ole Miss team that's really, really talented. And the biggest thing I learned yesterday about Georgia, and I think Georgia fans learned about Georgia, and they can almost exhale the rest of the year and that they have this question answered. There is no doubt to me whatsoever that Gunnar Stockton is the guy that can lead Georgia to an SEC championship, a college football playoff berth, and a run through the playoff based on what I saw yesterday.
Without a doubt. And for all the criticism that I and many others have landed on him and Mike Bobo, it was a pretty ingenious game plan as well. And Gunnar Stockton is able to execute it. So it's so hard to get these narratives right when you're stubborn, which we all are, especially me. But it was amazing to watch. And I mean, to think that Georgia is in a shootout. And it was just baffling to me because, I mean, clearly Kirby Smart's well aware of what he doesn't have on defense. And therefore he was more aggressive. You can't just stumble out of the gate like he has in the last couple of weeks, or it will get you beat. And it wasn't perfect, but man, was that second half, especially the fourth quarter, amazing to watch.
Did you think, and again, it's based on body of work, so I don't think we were wrong in believing this. At least I don't think that I was. Did you think that Georgia was capable of getting in a shootout and winning? Because I just hadn't seen that part of their portfolio. I saw a team that got down 10-0, should have been 17-0 Auburn, kind of fight. They're kind of like a boa constrictor. I say this about them every year. They'll kind of hold on and then start grabbing you as you start to get away, and they'll just squeeze the life out of you. I didn't know they had it in them to get in a 40-plus point shootout.
I mean, the Tennessee game gave you a little bit of an indicator, but not since then. But yeah, I mean, when you think about this Georgia team, they could have lost all these games, Matt. I mean, they should have lost to Tennessee. They were a nose of the football away from perhaps losing to Auburn. They were down by 9 yesterday. I mean, this has been truly remarkable. And guess what? It's fairly similar to last year when Kirby Smart cobbled a team together. It didn't. It never completely came together. It blew up on them at Ole Miss. It cost them at other times during the season. The Notre Dame game was an abject disaster. But they still won the SEC championship, which is so remarkable. And that is to me what is so interesting about this football program.
Where does Ole Miss look? This era of college football, you can have 2 losses and get in. We've seen it. There's proof. Where is Ole Miss after a loss when they had this game and they played hard and they couldn't find a way to close?
Well, they're in a really difficult spot here because I think my schedule is correct. Early in the morning, I think they go to Oklahoma this week, Matt, and that's a team that was in dire straits yesterday. But somehow South Carolina is making a lot of programs feel better about themselves this year,
which is surprising, by the way.
Incredibly surprising. So I don't know what to make out of that because that was everybody was kind of moving around. I mean, you were watching that game more closely than I was. But to me, it just seems like winning in Norman is going to be problematic for them. Then I'm trying to think in my head. I think their schedule is going to be okay, but they're in an awkward spot. If they drop 2 in a row, they're going to be playing with no more money, house money, the rest of the season.
Okay, speaking of money, house money, and we'll just get into this conversation now. So, what does that do for Lane Kiffin? With the team that he had last year and a first-round quarterback who's playing well in the NFL, a loaded roster last year, no playoff, another really good team this year, no playoff. What does that do for Lane Kiffin in Oxford with the perception of, can you reach the mountaintop at Ole Miss?
I think it's getting more difficult, and Lane Kiffin has been on the precipice of leaving. Matt, not to revisit ancient history, but he was heading to Auburn a couple of years ago. I mean, that is not in debate. And then his daughter got in the way. That story is confirmed. He was looking at Florida last year. It's a tug of war with him right now, because I think he really does love where he is. But
Yes.
Lane Kiffin is a fierce competitor, and he has to wonder, can he do much better than what he did last year? That team was outstanding on both sides of the ball. And this team is good, and probably not quite to the degree, but it's not far from it. It's capable. But if let's say they drop this game at Oklahoma, his path to the playoff is going to get difficult. The one thing about that, though, is if Lane Kiffin is not in the playoffs this year, I think there is a higher likelihood that he could leave.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you.